All right, this video is going to be a lesson on how to write an equation to model a linear relationship given a graph or a description. We're going to be reviewing a question that appears on page 391 of Houghton Mifflin Harcourt's Florida Go Math Advanced Mathematics 2 textbook. So I do need the students to turn to that page now, page 391. This is in lesson 13, section 1. Because we are in that module 13 there. At the top of page 391, we have this example here. It says, Greta makes clay mugs and bowls as gifts at the Crafty Studio. She pays a membership fee of $15 a month and that should be an equipment fee of $3 an hour to use the potter's wheel, table, and kiln. Write an equation in the form y equals mx plus b that Greta can use to calculate her monthly cost. What is this form known as? Anybody? The slope-intercept. It's known as, why, can anybody tell me why it's called the slope-intercept form? Yeah, right here in the equation, you've got m, which stands for slope, and b, which stands for the y-intercept. So just by looking at an equation that's in this form, we can see the slope and we can see the y-intercept. If we can find the slope and y-intercept in a word problem or a graph, we can then write the equation using the slope and the y-intercept to create the equation, just by filling in numbers for m and b. So now, what is the input variable x for this situation? Input. Input is the number that's going to be going into the equation, the one you get to choose the value of. Well, actually, before we go into that, let's take a moment and circle some of the important information that's in the problem. We are talking math here, so we're talking about money. You've got $15 here. You've got the $3 an hour. And you've got the equation form here. This is important information. It doesn't hurt to kind of go in there to kind of circle or underline stuff that might mean something, so you got highlighted, bring it out to you there. Now this $15 is a month, and this is in an hour. Okay, so just important things that we might need to go back to. All right, so what is the input variable? Remember, input is the independent variable. You guys heard about independent versus dependent? All right. It's the one you get to choose the value of and plug into the equation. Variable is one that we don't know the value for. So is it going to be a number in the word problem? No, we don't know the value for it. It's a variable. We don't know what the value is. So we're going to actually have to use a word to describe what the input variable is. What is it that we get to choose in this situation? Well, why don't we figure out, as far as variable, these are things we don't know, is it? What do we not know in this problem? What is it we need to look for? Things we don't know or things we need to look for? Y-intercept and slope, that's true. But in terms of the word problem, the actual situation here, what are we looking for? What do we not know and what are we looking for in this situation? Total cost. In fact, it says that right here, the monthly cost, right? Now it's total, it is a total, but it's a total for 1 month. So we're looking for the total for 1 month. That's one of the unknowns. Does that sound like one that you can choose the value of? You can choose the total cost? I don't think so. That sounds like one you have to be calculated. What else do we not know that might be involved in that total cost?
How many hours?
How many hours? We get to choose the number of hours that she uses the potter's wheel, table, and kiln. That is our input variable. So we would write the input variable is the number of hours she uses the equipment. Now, you guys are new to my classroom here. I do apologize that with the stylus here, the handwriting is not that great. If you ever tried working with a stylus on an iPad, unless you get it's kind of hard. So this does say the input variable is the number of hours she uses the equipment. Okay, yes?
Is the input variable just what you don't know?
Variables are going to be things we don't know. That's why they call it a variable. So we don't know what it is. Input is the unknown that we get to kind of choose. We got to plug it in to figure out. Whereas the output is the one that has to be calculated. It's remember, input is the independent, whereas output is the dependent. So if you remember the definitions of independent and dependent, they follow that way. Okay? Now, I believe we already talked about what the output would be here. What would the output be then? The monthly costs. So here we would write the monthly cost is the, to abbreviate, I just got to put is the output. We'll say that for now. Okay? Okay, here we have the same question here. I kept the question, but now we're moving on to part B. During April, Greta does not use the equipment at all. What will her number of hours, X, be for April? 0. Very good. So we're going to write 0. Maybe we'll write 0 hours, because we should remember to include units. Okay, what will her cost Y for April? What will the cost be for April? Well, there's 0 hours, but you still get charged the 15. So her cost for April would be $15. What will be her Y-intercept in the equation then? $15, because remember, the Y-intercept is defined as when the X value is 0. When X is equal to 0, that Y value, which is this, will be your Y-intercept. So it will be $15. Now, here's what I want to note. That $15, how many times are you going to be charged $15 in a month? Once. Your Y-intercept in a word problem is going to be there's often dollars involved in these things, and it's going to be the one-time charge, the thing that occurs once during the time frame we're looking at, just once. And in this case, the only thing that occurs once is the $15 membership fee. What keeps occurring again and again and again? In this one, the 15 doesn't keep occurring. What keeps occurring, like in a month, what would keep happening? What would keep changing? What? The $3. You keep getting charged, and the number of hours are going to change, so it's going to keep going like that. So that change, in fact, if you look at it here, actually, I'll leave that for the next screen because we go into that more, but the one-time fee is going to usually end up being your Y-intercept. That's what you're looking for in word problems. Okay, same word problem here now, looking at C. It says Greta spent 8 hours in May for a cost of, and it gives this equation, $15 plus 8 times $3, because 8 hours, $3 an hour, 8 times 3 is going to give you what? 24, plus the 15 gives you a total of 39. So we're talking about $39. How much time do we have? We still have 6 minutes. And in June, she spends 11 hours for a cost of, well, that's $3 for every hour, right? $3 times the 11 now, 11 hours, 3 times 11 would be, plus the 15 would give you, I heard 2 different numbers. The correct answer is 48. From May to June, the change in X values. Now, in May, what is the X value in May? Remember, what is X? X was we said it was going to, for question number, part A, it said X was what? Number of hours. So what was the hours in May? 8. What is it in June? What's the difference? 3. What's the Y value in May?
15.
No, 15 is the one time. The total Y value would be the Remember, the y was a total cost there, so it's 39. And in June it is,
48,
and the difference between those is
9.
9. 48 minus 39 would give you the 9. Now, if you remember, when you talk, hopefully when you were talking about slope, remember that change in y over change in x, right? That y minus y over x minus x formula. So if we take this change in y and put it over the change in x, that's going to give you the slope, which does end up being a 3, but before you get the 3, you'd have the 9 over 3, which does simplify to just plain 3 for the slope. Now we have the slope, and we have the y-intercept. And this equation should be y equals mx, not my. That was a autocorrect on the typing there. This y equals mx. So what would the equation be?
Y equals 3x plus 15.
3x plus 15. Our slope times x plus our y-intercept. And that is how you get